Have you ever seen a fruit that looks like an egg yolk, feels like custard, and tastes a bit like sweet potato pie? Well, that fruit actually exists. It's called the yellow sapote, or egg fruit, and if you've never heard of it before, you're in for a treat. Today, I'm going to show you what it is, how to grow it, and of course, the best ways to eat it. Trust me, once you try one, you'll never forget it. Hello, and welcome back to Thinglish Lifestyle. And here on the channel, we love growing unusual plants and turning them into tasty dishes. If you're new here, and you like the sound of tropical fruit adventures, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming up next. What is yellow sapote? So let's start with the basics. The yellow sapote is more commonly known as the egg fruit, but its scientific name is Pouteria campeciana. It's part of the same family as mamey sapote and abu, and it's an evergreen tree that originates from Central America and Mexico. In the garden, these trees can reach 6 to 10 meters tall. Although in a home orchard, or with a bit of pruning, you can keep them much smaller and manageable. The fruit itself varies in shape, sometimes round, sometimes oval, sometimes with a little point on the end. The skin is smooth and a glossy golden yellow to orange when ripe, but the real surprise is inside. Slice one open and you'll find a dense, custard-like flesh that looks almost exactly like a boiled egg yolk. That's why it's called egg fruit. And here's something handy. It's what's known as a climacteric fruit, which means if you pick it mature but still firm, it will ripen off the tree, just like bananas and avocados do. Flavor and nutrition. Now, what does it taste like? Well, imagine a mix of sweet potato, pumpkin pie, and caramel with a smooth custardy texture. Some people say it's a little like eating sweet egg custard straight from the spoon. The texture can range from slightly dry and mealy if picked too early to wonderfully creamy when perfectly ripe. Personally, I think it's one of those fruits that grows on you with every bite. Nutritionally, yellow sapote is a powerhouse. It's rich in vitamin A, which is important for your eyes and skin, and it also contains vitamin C, niacin, and a healthy amount of carotenoids. All that golden color is basically nature's way of saying, this fruit is good for you. Climate and growing conditions. So where can you grow egg fruit? Like most tropical fruits, it loves the heat. Ideally, you're looking at daytime temperatures between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. It doesn't like the cold, and young trees can be killed by just a light frost. Mature trees can tolerate a little more chill, down to -5 in some reports, but they won't thank you for it. They do best in full sun, in well-drained soil that's slightly acidic to neutral. Add plenty of compost or organic matter when you're planting. And because the leaves are big and glossy, it's best to shelter them from strong winds, which can shred the canopy. Flowering and fruit set. One of the quirky things about egg fruit is how it flowers. The blossoms aren't huge and showy. They're small and pale, often growing along the young branches and even directly on the trunk. They're lightly scented and attract pollinators, but the tree is also self-compatible, so you don't need a second tree to get fruit. From flower to harvest, you're looking at around 5 to 6 months. So be patient. Once it sets, it's still a bit of a wait before you can tuck in. Planting and early care. If you're planting one for yourself, try to get a grafted tree. Grafted plants fruit much earlier and more reliably than seedlings. Dig a nice big hole, twice as wide as the pot, and backfill with a mix of native soil and compost. Mulch generously around the base, but keep it a few centimeters back from the trunk to stop rot. They like consistent moisture, especially in the dry season, but they hate waterlogging. Think moist, but not soggy. And they're greedy feeders, so give them regular top-ups of compost, well-rotted manure, or a balanced fruit tree fertilizer. If you're in a windy spot, it's worth staking the young trees. They can get top-heavy, and the dense canopy acts like a sail in strong winds. Pruning and growth habit. Left to their own devices, egg fruit trees can shoot up and get pretty tall, but for home growers, it's a good idea to keep them around 3 or 4 meters. That way, you can pick fruit safely without needing a ladder. A bit of light annual pruning goes a long way. Open up the canopy so sunlight can reach the inner branches, which encourages more fruiting wood. Remove any dead or crossing branches and give it a tidy up each year. The tree will reward you with better yields and easier harvesting. Pests and problems. Luckily, yellow sapote is generally quite hardy. The main things to watch for are fungal root rot if the soil stays too wet, and the occasional attack of scale insects or mealybugs on new growth. Good airflow, steady irrigation, and keeping the base clear of debris are usually all it takes to keep them healthy. One issue growers sometimes see is fruit splitting, usually when a tree goes from very dry to suddenly very wet. Try to keep watering even and mulch well to help regulate soil moisture. Harvest and ripening. So when are they ready to pick? Timing is everything. You want to harvest when the fruit has fully colored up to a deep golden yellow, the skin has lost its glossy sheen, and the flesh near the stem gives slightly when pressed. Cut or twist the fruit gently from the tree and leave it at room temperature to finish ripening. If you pick too early, it can stay chalky and astringent. But if you get it just right, it will soften and sweeten beautifully within a few days. Once ripe, handle them gently. The flesh can bruise. And a little tip, don't refrigerate them before they're ripe. Cold storage too early will ruin the texture, eating and cooking. All right, let's talk about the fun bit, eating them. The simplest way is to scoop the flesh out with a spoon and eat it fresh. A little squeeze of lime over the top can balance out the sweetness and make the flavor pop. One of the most popular uses is in smoothies and shakes. In the Philippines, they make something called an egg fruit nog. Blend the flesh with milk, cinnamon, and nutmeg for a rich, custardy drink. You can also blend it with banana, coconut milk, or even a pinch of turmeric and ginger for a healthy tropical smoothie. In baking, egg fruit works brilliantly as a stand-in for pumpkin. You can use it in pies, custards, cakes, or even pancakes. Try caramelizing slices in a pan with a little butter and brown sugar for a decadent dessert. And if you're into homemade ice cream, just freeze chunks and blend them with cream or coconut milk for a naturally sweet treat. Honestly, once you start experimenting, you'll wonder why more people don't grow this fruit. Common questions. Now, a few quick questions that often come up. Number 1. Why is my fruit dry or chalky? The usual culprit is picking too early. Let the fruit color up fully and soften off the tree. Some cultivars are also creamier than others, so variety plays a role. Number 2. My tree is flowering but not setting fruit. Make sure it's getting steady water and enough nutrients, and encourage pollinators into your garden with flowers or companion plants. Number 3. Can I grow it in a big pot? You can while it's young, but for the best results and reliable crops, it's far happier in the ground. If you must use a container, make it a very large one with excellent drainage, and keep it in full sun. So that's the yellow sapote, the egg fruit, a tropical custard tree that's as fascinating as it is delicious. From planting to pruning, from harvesting to baking it into pies, it's a tree that rewards patience with golden, custardy fruit, and like anything else. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to Thinglish Lifestyle for more tropical fruit guides and tasty recipes. And here's a question for you. If you had your first egg fruit tomorrow, would you scoop it straight and eat it fresh, or would you bake it into a pie? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. Until next time, happy growing and live a life less ordinary.